Hello and welcome. My name's James and today I'm going to show you how to make some slime. We've got a few different types. We've got a chocolate slime which is very dark and smells amazing, but do not eat it. Some glow in the dark slime which is fantastic to play with when the lights are out. And we've also got some slime with some polystyrene balls and some glitter, and I've actually got some scents that we add, like food, essence of vanilla, that sort of thing. Which gives it a really nice smell. So I'll show you how to make the first batch, and all the others are very similar, and I'll give you some description on those as well. So this is everything we need. This is PVA glue. This is the stuff that you put on your hands at school, let it dry and peel off. Carpenter's glue or wood glue. It's polyvinyl acetate, PVA. It's a thermoplastic, and that's what gives the slime its plasticity. This one here is also PVA. It's got a slight orange tinge. That's like orange essence I put in this one, just to give it a nice scent when we make it. It will smell nice and citrusy. Baking soda, bicarbonate of soda, a little pot of that. This is contact lens solution, not water. You don't want to add water to slime because it will make it go stodgy, horrible, gungy. That's where most of the slime fails that you see happen. This is contact lens solution. I will put a link to all of these items in the description of this video. You can't just buy any contact lens solution. It has to have sodium borate in it. So that's the activator. That's where the magic happens. A couple of spoons for mixing. Here I've just got plain old cocoa powder to make a chocolate slime, which smells amazing and looks amazing and doesn't taste very good, so do not eat it. We've got some glitter and some polystyrene balls to give our slimes a little bit of texture. And this is really cool. This is glow in the dark pigment, so we make a glow in the dark slime as well. So where to start? Let's make a chocolate slime. I'm just going to put this stuff over here. So what do we need? We need our cocoa powder, PVA, baking soda and activator. The PVA, this is quite a specific measurement. This is a dollop, possibly a dollop and a half. So that's that. So we open that. You can also, I'm making 3 different slimes here, but you could make one big batch and break it all off and then add your other bits and pieces to it. So to the PVA, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon approximately of baking soda, and I'm going to start to mix that in. As you start to mix this in, the slime will start to pull away from the sides. That's what we want. The trick with slime is to show it who's boss. Don't be afraid of it. Get in there, get stuck in. It will work. This is coming really well. This is already starting to get nice and goopy and a bit stronger than the PVA. I'll keep going with that. And this is where the magic happens. This is the activator going in. With the activator, only put a tiny bit in at a time. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. If you put too much in, your slime will go very brittle. Or not brittle, it just won't be very stretchy. So only a little bit at a time. Give that a good stir. We're waiting until this starts to really peel away from the edges of the pot. And when we come to take it out, it might be a little bit sticky to the touch, but it shouldn't be too bad. One of the other things on the note of adding the activator is any time you're adding to the slime, do a little bit at a time, add it in, mix it in, give it time to do its thing. Because you'd be surprised at working this for a little bit with your hands. You might think, oh, it's gone really slimy if you add a bit too much, like if we put paint in it or something like that to give it a colour. You might find that you think it's getting a bit slimy, but stick with it. The same as if you were to add shaving foam or like body lotion or baby oil to that. It can make it nice and stretchy, nice and silky, but at first it will feel really wet and horrible. But give it time and just don't add too much in at one go. Right, so this still feels a little bit sticky. I'm gonna roll with it, and moving it in your hands like this really helps it all to mix in and get it to consistency that we like. So when I pull this apart at the moment, it's not really stretchy. It starts to break and not look great. So we'll keep going. And the best part of the slime as well is you can wash up as you go, because you can get all of the ingredients out of the pot. So that all sticks to it. Lovely stuff. A little on the edge there. Keep working it. Remember, show it who's boss. You're in charge. One other thing to remember is do not add water. I think I may have said that already. But don't add water. That will make it horribly stodgy. If you have warm hands, as I do, you might find it useful to wet them under a tap, cold tap, cool them down. But make sure you give them a good old dry off afterwards, because you don't want to get water in here. Okay, so already it's still a little bit snappy. And as I say, I don't have any here at the moment, but body lotion, baby oil or shaving foam, if it gets to a point where you've been working it in your hands like this for quite a while and it's still breaking as you stretch it, a little bit of the oil will help. Just make it a little bit stretchy and a little bit less snappy. Now, I could have added the cocoa powder in when I mixed in the bicarbonate of soda, but actually I've tried this a couple times and that gives it a nice uniform effect. But if you do it once it's moulded and made like this, you get quite a nice marbling effect, which I really like. So the base slime at the moment is white. When you mix in the cocoa powder, which is like a dark chocolatey colour, you get a bit of the streaks of white in there as well. So what I'm going to do is make my slime into a bit of a sheet, which is nice. Lay that down. It feels sort of wet to the touch, but it's not sticking to my hand, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to add some cocoa powder in, not too much at a time again, because I did this earlier, squeezed it together and burst it everywhere. So we make a little pouch and we just mix it in, and I expect, already got some on my hands there, which is fine. I expect this will burst out in a minute. So every time you're folding the slime and squeezing it together, you're creating air pockets. If you put too much pressure on those and they burst, that's fine, but if they're full of dry cocoa powder, there you go, you may have heard that, if they're full of dry cocoa powder, that tends to go everywhere. Yeah. There we go, that's the mess I was talking about. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Right, keep working it. And again, a new ingredient's been added, so keep working it before you decide to try and correct anything by adding any more activate or anything like that. Oh, it makes great sounds as well. So I'm starting to get quite a marbly effect in this, which I quite like. I quite like the unevenness of the colour there. Still a little bit snappy, but I'm just going to keep on working it. And where I spilt some of that chocolate, as I said before, I can use my slime, pick some of that up. Get that all mixed in there, get it nice and dark. That's it, and it smells absolutely amazing. If you're going to put it in the cupboard or anything like that to store it, just make sure it's not too close to the treats, because I wouldn't be surprised. There you go, and enjoy the process, enjoy mixing it and seeing how it changes. This has gone a little bit snappy here, which is fine, I don't mind that at all. Let's mix in some more of this. I've got a little bit of the PVA and stuff left over in here, so let's add a little bit of that in. And the more you play with it, the more plastic it gets. That's what we're after. There you go. So I can pull that quite nicely and it's not snapping at me. Smells amazing. Chocolate slime. Easy. Next, let's do, this is the PVA glue with the orange essence in it. So again, adding, I think maybe last time I didn't put quite enough of the powder in, but again, adding slowly, a little bit at a time. Let's do that. Right. So start mixing that in, try and get that powder out of the surface, or off the surface, and mixed into the PVA. Lovely stuff. So again, this is like a very thick, sticky yogurt at the moment. Just starting to come away from the sides, which is nice. I'm going to add, again, a small amount of my activator. There we go. Again, you can always add more. If you're stirring this in the pot and you're stirring it for a long old time, and I mean, 5 minutes plus, before you add more activator to get it less sticky, add a little bit more of the powder first, because you don't want to overactivate it. You end up with a big tub of cement if you do that. It goes very solid and not at all nice. So if it's still in the pot and you think it's a bit sticky, go for the powder. Once you get it out and you've got it in your hands and you're moulding it in your hands, again, if it's still really sticky for quite some time, get a little bit of the contact lens solution on your hands, a small amount on your hands, and just keep on moulding it and playing with it until it sort of sinks in. And again, anytime you add anything, give it time to sink in. Okay, so this is coming away from the edge now. I've got a nice candy floss kind of thing. It's still, again, a little bit sticky, but I'm gonna start moulding it. See how it's sticking to my hands, but I think that this is still mixing in. I don't think it's quite done, so I'm moulding it in the hands. Now, I've obviously got cocoa powder on my hands, so this has now gone from a nice white with an orange tinge to white with a bit of a brown tinge, but still, we'll persevere. Again, so not adding water, but if you are doing the cocoa one first, by all means wash your hands, just make sure you dry them if you want to keep this one like this. If you want to add colour to these, you can get either felt tip pen, which is quite good, and you can just literally draw on, give it a bit of a mix up and see how you are. The benefit of that is that if it's too dark, too light, you can add more, and it's a really easy way of keeping control as to how much colour you have on there. You can also add lots of different colours, which is quite cool. They do all eventually mould into one, but you still get little flicks of different colour. Just nice. The alternative is to get a small bowl or your pot, and put a little bit of sort of poster paint, any sort of water-based paint in there, and just bundle up the slime and just get in there. You can either do it with your spoon or your hands, but just keep it moving. So this one is a lot better than the last one. It's still breaking a little bit, but we're getting there a lot faster with this one. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my polystyrene balls, and I put these go everywhere. So if you're using these, just be wary. This tabletop that I've got here has got edges to it, which is really handy, so if they roll away, they don't go too far. So as I said with the paint, with the balls, you're going to get your slime and just dunk it in there and let it stick. And as I pull this out, you'll see loads of them fall out everywhere. Oh, I may have got away with it. Let's find out. And listen to that. It's a brilliant polystyrene sound. Right, there we go. There they go. So we're going to keep on mixing these up. And I've got somewhere, do I have an empty pot? So again, I'm going to grab, what am I going to grab? My pot, which is right there. And just get out some of the excess ingredients and mix that in, just so it cleans the pot a little bit, which is handy for the next stage, but also gives you a little bit more slime, and who wouldn't want that? Right, so this is really good now, so I can fill those polystyrene balls in there, Absolutely fantastic. So to that I want to add some glitter, because who doesn't want a little bit of sparkle? So I'm going to pour my glitter into the bottom of that container. Get my slime. Oh, a little bit more cocoa powder on there as well because I can't tidy up. Right, glitter. Look at that, that's amazing. So it's gold glitter on what was a nice white slime but is now chocolatey slime, but very pale chocolate, that's fine. So I've got my glitter on there, and again, like the polystyrene balls, I'm just going to keep moulding and moving, and it very quickly disappears into there. So I'm going to have another dunk. Fantastic. And I really like the effect of the polystyrene balls with the gold glitter. I think it looks awesome. So there we go. So good textured slime there with the polystyrene balls and glitter. Let's put the glitter over here. There we go. Number 2. Right, I'm going to wash my hands for the next one because they are covered in chocolate powder and glitter. Right, hands clean and thoroughly dried. Still a bit of a messy worktop, but I'm making more slime, so who cares? Right, so I've got my last PVA. And again, same process as before, getting the getting the powder. And again, about a teaspoon. It does pay to have a couple of teaspoons on hand if you're making a few different batches. As I said before, you can make one big batch of this and then break it up into smaller containers and then add all your decoration, which is probably an easy tidy away. But I had these to spare, so I'm all good. So stir, stir, stir. The trick with this is once you think you've finished, keep going. Right. Then activator again. And this is probably a quarter of a teaspoon at a time, maybe half a teaspoon at a time. Tiny amounts. Again, you can add more if you need to, but ideally you shouldn't have to, and then it all clicks and goops together. What a sound. Want to give that a chance to do its thing. So now I've got my candy floss stick there again. And that is not sticking to my hand this time, which is good. That's what we're going for. So again, still feels a bit wet and a bit cold, but it's not sticking to my hand, which is nice. Well, it's sticking a little bit, but what can you do? Right, so again, moulding it and playing with it, really working all of those different components together. Give it a bit of a stretch. It's probably still a little bit stiff right now. Love a snap, get those air pockets. And again, as I said with the cocoa powder, I probably should have added my pigment to this one whilst it was in the pot, while I was mixing in all of the other powders. But we'll be fine, we'll keep going. And then, so I'm going to make that sheet again. I'm going to put it over this side where I don't have too much cocoa powder, because this one I'd quite like to keep clean. There is already a polystyrene ball in there, that's fine. So I'm going to give it a good old bit of pigment. This stuff's fantastic. Fold it over, mash it all in as much as I can without getting it everywhere. That is the other benefit of doing this in the pot. is that it's a bit cleaner and tidier, that's fine. I just want to squeeze this in, and that white base slime that we had is already going green, which is amazing. And again, just working it. And again, anytime you're adding anything to it, just let it do its thing. Don't be hasty, just enjoy it. And you see, because I didn't do this in the pot, this pigment has also got a marbly effect, so there's streaks where it's darker and green, and other parts where it's a bit lighter white, which is fine. But if you want it a bit more uniform and a bit more one colour overall, then add it when you're adding the bicarbonate of soda. Cool. I think we're nearly there. So with this one, because it's glow in the dark, we want to hold it near to a light for a bit to give it as much time to charge up as it possibly can. Because if we do it as a ball like this, we're not going to get too much of it exposed to the light. So by giving it a good old stretch, really working it and opening it out, we open far more of that pigment, give it far more of a, oh, far more of that pigment opened up to the light, which is what we want. Got a nice mix of stuff in there now. My advice to you is maybe do one at a time and separate them. Don't try and do it all in one go. But hey, I make these mistakes so you don't have to. So, glow in the dark slime. Glitter and polystyrene balls. Also a lovely citrus smell on that one. That's the one with the orange essence in there, which is brilliant. Again, ideally you wouldn't mix this with cocoa powder, but hey, that's what makes it unique, right? All looks different. Who wants a uniformed anyway? And if it comes out of my pot, some chocolate slime. Chocolate and glitter slime. It's like a glitzy chocolate pudding. Do not eat it. But there we go. 3 types of slime. It's not difficult. Give it a go. The worst case scenario, you start again. Give it a go. You can only improve. Give it an experiment. So there we are. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.